watching. We're in the building. Say Something fam, what's going on? Welcome back. Money Mitch here to my left. We have a lovely agenda as always whenever we're in these seats for y'all. So before we get to it, we always got to get to our tradition first, which is to make sure to take a little bit of time right now, jump into that phone, look to your right, look to your left, check in with somebody you never know when it might make that difference. So Mitch, how you doing? Let the folks know.
Man, I'm doing good. I hope everybody else is as well. Lately, there's been a lot of earthquakes going on in California, especially the Bay Area where we are. So that's not been easy. I've been kind of worried about those. Live on the top floor, not trying to fall all the way down. But other than that, just trying to make more and more content for the channel, get some more eyes for you guys, get some more information so you guys are tuned in and coming and checking us out so we can get to that 50 so we can start going live for everybody. But I'm excited to talk sports. The MLB is coming around for the playoffs. It's going to be really exciting, so I'm just ready to get started. What about you?
Man, I'm good. Thank you. Just chilling. You know, we're in grind mode. So last year, I'm having a great little time kind of picking up the new things, which feels good to finally have a schedule that I have some little knowledge about. I can predict what's going to happen.
Got a nice routine again.
Thank you. A nice little routine. Excuse me. It's tough when things feel like everything is new. And so there's still always new things, but I'm enjoying them. And I've told myself, like I will tell you guys weekly on this journey, I'm really going to focus on living in the day-to-day. I'm always hyper-focused on the future. And usually when I have a checkpoint, I really just get locked in on that checkpoint and am not very present. So I've just told myself this year, I'm going to enjoy the ups and downs. I'm going to stay present because I don't want to, look back on it and realize, dang, you know what I mean? You didn't really even soak a lot of that in, you know what I mean? And this is not going to happen again. And I'm very just thankful at this point for the opportunities that I've had. So yeah, I just want to make sure I stay grounded, 10 toes down. But other than that, I had a phenomenal time this week. I went to the Giants game with some of my cohorts. Shout out to y'all. It was phenomenal. It was a good time and basically spoke into existence, catching me one of these.
There we go.
Yes, sir. Major League Baseball. First real grab right there. Helio Ramos with the checker and me with the one-hander. It always feels good. It was bare hand and I left with no scars, no scratches, no bruises. So, quite a moment. Got some cheers. It was very uplifting for a Monday. It did leave me a bit tired for obviously the rest of the week, but it was worth it.
The kid that you reached over was okay with it, though.
Yeah. What's crazy is I definitely normally would be searching for a kid, but there wasn't any kids near us, and my whole section was super chatty, and so the majority of the people, I didn't hear not a person who was doing anything other than just kind of thanking me for being one of the only people that was paying attention. Because as you know, with baseball, it's a little bit of a schmoozy sport. People get to chatting.
Long game.
And that thing was coming in hot. And, even for me, the depth perception was a little tough. So I can only imagine for people who are not athletic and don't have good hand-eye coordination. So a lot of people were just kind of wow, especially there was a group of youngsters behind me. The two girls that I saved, that was just bonus points. But because I came with them, you know what I mean? So if you know. But there was four direct. It was a group of 8, but 4 direct people behind me who were college cats who were a little bit turned up. And were just very bro, thank you. Because they were all just debating who was about to take that in the face.
Right. My man was like, don't worry, ladies.
Yeah.
I do this all the time.
Yeah.
This is pretty normal for me. Just take a step back.
Yeah.
I got you.
I was like, hey, man, even the pros need a glove. You know what I mean? So just imagine where that puts me, But no, all jokes aside, really cool to have that moment. And, I'm a Giants fan, so they're on their way to not having a playoff season. So it was good to just get something nice in there. And then the next time that I'll be there will either be for a game next season or my graduation. So regardless, it was just good to have a moment where it was let's add on to the lore in this place. So shout out also to Brendan Senegar. Eventually, I know you're going to see this. But man, I appreciate you for the alley-oop. Again, if you know, you know. But yeah, man, I just held it down. It was awesome to see you. Hope everything is going well, like I said, during our little our little handshake and our little what's going on.
Still athlete to this day.
Super athlete. Still out here. I presume you see him on the gram, right?
Yeah, he'd be out there. Baseball, football, whatever you need.
Still playing travel football. He was going off relatively soon to go play. I forget where. It might have been Arizona to go play a tournament. But man, just treated me like royalty in there.
Straight baller.
Treated me like Big Meech.
Great guy.
Treated me like Big Meech, man. So can never ask for more. It's always love, man. And I'm gonna return the favor when I see you. But I appreciate the Chris Paul, man. That was phenomenal. So now, without further ado, shout out to Reek, by the way. If y'all don't know, we gotta always make sure we're bringing in the whole crew into this thing. It's definitely, we're all putting our hands in here to make this thing crack. So
was able to save his arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's surviving.
And he still would have done it without the arm. You know what I mean? So regardless, we good. But I'm always going to make sure we shout out the squad. So shout out to you, Reek, behind the camera.
Sir.
And one of these days, we're going to get him on a check-in.
Right?
Yeah. Semi-forcefully, but respectfully.
Turn that camera around.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, let's jump to the NFL. I don't want to, again, get too much in the baseball mode of schmoozing y'all down. So let's get to what we got. And we do also have baseball for those of you who are wondering, was that it? No, we got y'all with a real update and playoff seedings. But first, we start with the NFL.
Let's go.
Thursday night football just happened. Okay. This is normally what we're doing nowadays. We're normally linking up, getting a little second half watching. If we got the energy, sometimes we watch the whole game, right? But we're all working. We're all doing our thing. So we're trying our best, getting there second half. And usually we watch the game, reflect a tiny bit, and then jump right here on this. So it's fresh. And as I always do, I let Mitch open up with his take, a little bit of leadoff action. What did you think about the game? And I'll go ahead and follow up.
This pretty much seemed like a very typical NFC West matchup. I kind of predicted earlier in a post that this was going to be a more higher scoring game just because of how Seattle's been playing their last two games and they've scored a bunch. And with them scoring so much, I felt like the Cardinals needed to be able to score a bunch just to be in contention, so I made it close. And I did that a lot because last week I predicted a low score for Monday night, and it ended up being a high score between the Lions and who was it, the Bears, I think, or whoever they were playing. It was a shootout.
Yeah, Lions Ravens.
Lions Ravens.
Yep. And that was.
And so I went on the over this time, but I should have realized this would have been like a low scoring game because the two games that these guys, or the games that these teams lost, both to the 49ers, were grinded out low scoring games. Yes. And that just seems to be the theme anytime two NFC West teams play each other.
Yes.
And that's what we got today. And in typical form, like my man Benny was saying when we were watching the game, even though there's 20 seconds left, the Cardinals can still find a way to lose this. And that's what happened. They came back, scored in the final minute of the game, brought it to 20-20 to tie it up after being down the entire game.
And getting like several third and fourth
downs on the drives. Great plays, getting good calls for PI as well. Dominating. Seems like they were trying to pick on Witherspoon, which is a surprise.
Which is crazy.
One of the best DBs out there. But ultimately, on the kickoff, the kicker for Seattle, or for the Arizona Cardinals, decided, I'm not going to put my full effort in this one. I actually don't even really care what's going on right now. And he doesn't even kick it within the boundaries of the new rules.
The 20-yard.
Within the 20 yards, and the ball gets to be put on the 40-yard line. If you guys don't know, nowadays with these kickers being able to adjust the balls themselves before the games and throughout the games, they're making long field goals now. And so basically they only needed about 10, 15 yards to make it a 50-yard field goal. And that's exactly what they did. 2 plays, one to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then just a run play just to run out the clock.
Right.
And then boop, nice easy kick. Game over. Seattle wins 23-20. It happened in better form than I thought for the Cardinals. Their defense actually showed up and held it down for them. Offense, still shaky. Lots of questions. Marvin Harrison did get a touchdown, but still, the offense didn't look like there was any cohesion. Everything was just, is it going to be this play? Maybe somebody might be open. Maybe we might make a play this time. But just way too many questions to be answered for Arizona. They couldn't really get Trey McBride going as much. The run game didn't go anywhere with Trey Benson. So they got a lot of things to figure out. Whereas on the Seahawks side, I feel like they have a very balanced team. There's no splash player or nothing crazy going on either side of the ball. But when the defense is one of the top in the league, causing 5-6 interceptions throughout this season already, and then the front line is getting to the quarterback, causing pressures, you're going to get a lot of success. And then on the offensive side, Sam Darnold is just a very consistent quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, who over time, maybe not getting a lot in chunk plays, but they can wear you down.
For sure.
And they are also running backs that are capable of scoring a touchdown or two each game. Mm-hmm. So just a very balanced team. Like you were talking about earlier, just seems like very consistent throughout whoever they have on their team. Lose DK, oh, don't worry. We have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Mm-hmm. We'll bring in a Cooper Kupp. We have a Torrey Horton come in, a fifth rounder who's going to be a good player for them. Mm-hmm. We got Zach Charbonnet to back up Kenneth Walker III. So a lot of solid players, no superstars, but it equals wins at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were very, very spot on, I think, with the assessment. I think Marvin Harrison's stat line is like super faulty in comparison to what it looked like for the game. Yeah. I mean, 6 on 10 targets for 66 yards and a touchdown. That's like not a terrible game, but like if you saw the first half, I mean, this dude, like before he had got on that little run in the second half, we were just talking about, is he like cursed? I mean, is it a flat out bust? Because he was just doing things that made him, and still, I mean, it's not like this is enough to say he's out of it.
Yeah.
But like he's been doing things this season and last year that are like self-sabotage, where it's like you are broken. Like people don't recognize you as a player. Yeah. You know, like you have fan bases like Ohio State fans are like, what are we seeing? You know what I mean? It's not the Marv we know. Mm-hmm. And you could even tell Kyler Murray is just at a point of like, bro, you're like, I'm going to lose my job because of you. Like he probably has 3 picks this year.
You're making me throw it to Dortch and like Michael Wilson and stuff. Bro.
Like, you know, I mean, I think he might be responsible for 3 picks so far this year. And it's like, we're in week 4 and they just, you know, so unacceptable. And, you know, especially when you look at a guy like Malik Neighbors, who albeit probably has the highest volume, you know, around and, you know, is dealing with his own issues. Mm-hmm. It does seem like on draft day, if you remember watching, they had done a Hard Knocks with the Giants that year. And the Giants had said they would take him over Marvin every day. And it was just because of the heart, the dog. Like, it was just that. It was like they just didn't believe in Marvin's heart. And it's just – it's crazy to say that just feels so accurate. Mm-hmm. Like, it just – that feels like what it's missing. Like, do you care? And the look in his eyes on the sideline, it's like he's just seeing ghosts.
Yeah. Was it like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz, where it's just like, where's your heart at, bro? You're good on the outside, everything looks all right, but where's your heart, bro?
Yes. And then this whole Trey McBride, like not being able to figure out how to get that guy in the end zone. Like, you know, he's already scored a touchdown this year, so people have kind of been like thinking they can stop talk about that. But like last year, he had 2 all year.
Yeah.
And the way they play with him, it's like he doesn't even look his way in the red zone, you know? And like Mitch was saying, there's times where it looks like he's trying to force it to Marvin in the red zone. So, you know, I'm glad for betting purposes because I can read these games in the NFC East, not every time perfectly, but this game seemed very scripted. And a lot of those were pretty easy props. But like, you know, they're going to be in trouble without James Conner because this team really relies on being red zone efficient, and they've been very red zone efficient by having James Conner.
Yeah.
When you look at what it's like without that, Trey Benson won't get you in there. Marvin got you in there, but like you don't look Trey's way, and you know Marvin is going to be a coin flip each time.
Trey way.
100%. I think you know the Seahawks are a good team, like Mitch also mentioned. I think that they are very well rounded. I think for the most part, they're a pretty like mistake-free team, which is normally why I will always lean on the side of the Seahawks in this specific matchup. And I normally do believe these games will end up being close, just as this was. But like this matchup, they had so many cancellations in terms of players being ineffective and on either side, just kind of deleting each other. He already mentioned Witherspoon getting absolutely torched throughout the game, but he spent the whole first half locking up Marvin, right? Yeah. So it's like these are just NFC West matchups to a T. Getting Jackson Smith and Jigma not involved until the second half was pretty wild. And just to see how efficient he was, 4 receptions out of 5 targets for 79 yards. He quite possibly could be ascending into top 10 wide receiver this year. I think it's very likely, just with his overall skill. Like, his volume isn't even quite there yet. Yeah. I also liked Elijah Arroyo, who's their draft pick this year, tight end out of Miami. Yeah. They usually draft pretty serviceable tight ends, and they love running 2 tight end sets, which is way different than they were running last year with spread. So they're definitely becoming a more aggressive, more physical team this year, which is scary because I think it actually suits their personnel a lot better than what they were doing last year, which was running a spread offense, right, and trying to get DK involved in all these things. So overall, not the greatest game. The biggest play that I would love for y'all to go check out that I think really depicts how this game went overall, how about Kobe Bryant's pick?
Oh, man.
How about Kobe Bryant's pick, right?
You want to right back.
You want to explain that? You want to explain how that went down?
I mean,
that is wild.
My man got the interception, running it back, looks behind him to check if there's anybody.
Cardinal.
Yeah, looks to see if anybody's coming for the tackle. Mind you, his own teammate is coming to make the tackle on him. Comes in, knocks the ball as he's sliding down, and gives the ball right back to the Cardinals. I mean, it was comical, honestly. Like,
literally.
Can't even write that down.
This is Madden at that point, So if you guys are going to watch anything, make sure you watch that. And then also I would say the Marvin Harrison touchdown is worth a little replay. Nice. It was a good moss. But, I wish him well. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing I can say. I'm glad we've gotten dubs over these teams. We got to face them again. But, we'll talk about my Niners in a bit here. And I think, overall, Seattle could be a scary team if they can hold it together. And I don't know if you repeated yourself, but you did mention this earlier off air that Minnesota might be a little
too quick on the trigger.
A little concerned. A little concerned about returning those goods.
Because if he can get it to these receivers on this team, which is basically just Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That's it. That's literally it.
And you had Justin Jefferson,
Jordan
Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Jalen Naylor,
Aaron Jones.
Jordan
Mason. That team.
Don't break up a good thing.
Right.
Well,
13-2,
13-2, bro. Like, what? JJ can come in later. Like, nobody's going to be upset if Sam Darnold starts to do bad. And then you're like, all right, we'll bring in JJ.
Right.
But a little premature there, buddy.
For sure. All right, so that's that. We can move on to the Raiders, and then we will also have that. Well, hey, this is a weekly thing. Season has just started. You know what I mean? So, for all you Raider Nation out there, pick your heads up.
Christ.
All right, it's just week 4.
Well, just to speak on another quarterback that went from one team to another.
Man.
The Raiders went up against the Commanders without Jaden Daniels, and who decided to show up for them?
Magical Mariota.
Marcus Mariota, the guy the Raiders used to have on their team. And he goes to the Commanders and faces the Raiders and looks like a capable quarterback. What a surprise.
On 1 week, too.
On 1 week.
On 1 week. 1 week notice.
15-21 for 207 yards and a touchdown, as well as 6 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. I'm pretty sure most guys who come back and play against the Raiders after having been on the team either the year before or just prior, they seem to be like, oh, guys, we got this time. We're going to do good today. And that's what happened. The Raiders defense decided not to show up. Geno Smith, on paper, had a good game, but really it was a lot of just garbage time points to Trey Tucker, which made Trey Tucker look extremely well after this game and has him as the number 4 receiver in fantasy.
Right.
But
three tutties, right?
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 145 yards. So that's basically the biggest highlight of the game. Other than that, still Ashton Genty was just 63 yards on 17 carries.
Dude.
No touchdowns. I don't know what the play calling is for Chip Kelly right now, but it really doesn't look different or innovative or like he's even relaying the calls to Geno Smith because I don't know if they go over film the next day after games because the throws that my man is making are looking very Jamarcus Russell-like.
Right.
Like what? Just throwing straight to defenders with no receivers out there. I think that Brock Bowers is being hindered by his knee. He got hit up after the first game and was looking a little wobbly and hasn't looked right ever since.
Yeah,
because he did have over 100 yards that first game with a touchdown, but since then it's kind of been lost. He had only 5 targets, caught 4 of them for 38 yards. He's too good of a player to just have 4 catches on 38 yards. It's been bad decision making, a bad offensive line to start off the year for the Raiders, and clearly the defense is not picking up the slack after having shown that they were somewhat capable over the first couple games.
Right.
Especially when they played the Chargers, only gave them up 20.
Yeah.
So, it's tough to see them going down like this, especially against a quarterback that, one, you guys should already know, and 2, when he was on our team, he didn't do this good.
Right.
So, clearly, kind of like how we're talking about Malik Neighbors and how he talks, Malik Neighbors said, hey, it ain't the quarterback. You see Daniel Jones over there doing his thing now.
Right.
So the Raiders, y'all might want to, look at themselves in the mirror in the front office and everything and the coaching staff, because sometimes it's not the players. Sometimes it's the scheme. Sometimes it's the play calling. And that needs to be checked on in terms of the Raiders, because over the last few years, the offense hasn't looked good, even though you've had capable players. So it's just really disappointing. I'm not really surprised. We lost this game. I had that, from when we did this before the season started. But just in the fashion that we have been playing and the way that Geno has been showing out, it's been very disappointing, because it seems like we set it up to have but better players in certain skill positions like Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers and Geno Smith, but we didn't complement them with the correct line. And now we can't get a running game started, and we can't have a quarterback who's comfortable enough to have time to get the receiver the ball. So it's tough to watch already. Again, I'm still thinking 7-10 is the best we could do, but right now it's looking a little rough. And we got the Bears next, and the Bears are coming off a solid win. Caleb Williams looked really, really good in that last game. So I'm worried that DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and the boys will just come in and be like, well, we're 1-2, but we're playing the Raiders. So we don't have to have any apprehension. We could just come out and play the game and have no fear. And that worries me whenever you play the Raiders, because if the other team is playing free, I think the Raiders are still just too confused on both sides of the ball to even make a competitive game. So I'm seeing another L coming next week. But if you guys out there are a little more optimistic, please put in the comments why you think that, because as of right now, again, I'm seeing another losing season for the Raiders.
Yeah, the only thing I will say before moving on, just looking over these stats from the game, 201 rushing yards allowed.
Yeah.
That's absurd. We don't even know who's the running back for Washington.
No. that was the worst part. Every time they ran the ball, it was like, gash this way, gash that way. Oh, we're bouncing off 3 tackles going this way.
Right.
Everybody was eating on their team in terms of running backs. McNichols,
4 carries, 78 yards.
Yeah, so
wow.
It's a rough start, but are we surprised? Not really.
100%. And the last thing I'll say as well, 5 sacks on Geno and 1 on Marcus Mariota. And that always will swing.
We never get to the quarterback. Right. We're continuously every season, the only team I see constantly sending 7 guys at the quarterback and not even touching you.
Right.
Not even like I at least knocked you over after you made the throw. It's like, nah. They just took off and got 7 yards on the rush, or you guys all got blocked and they just made an easy dump down throw for 30 yards.
And who would you guess that got the sack?
Max Crosby.
The only guy that ever does anything. So, enough of that. Raider Nation, again, if you feel different, put it down in the chat. It's a long season.
I know you don't.
It's a long season. Put it in the comments. But, yeah, man, like I said, Off season is a good season for a lot of people. So you know what I mean. We got to keep that in mind.
This isn't the draft you want to tank for. Sheesh, guys.
Right. So anyway, on to the Niners, where things are brighter, but not. I wouldn't say it's all sunshines and rainbows over
Pretty
here.
Undefeated over there, huh?
We are undefeated, and so far, if you guys remember my matchup predictions, I am 100%. I do have us at 4-0 again this next week against Jacksonville. The one game following that against the Rams in primetime, I think it'll get greasy because I think it's going to really depend on who's back, who's there.
You did say you guys were going to win that one.
I did. But I did say we were going to lose one to the Rams. So I did say that was the one team that we're going to split with. And Seattle, the way they look, that could be the other split. But going over the game, we played Arizona, who we just talked about as well in the Thursday night matchup. First thing I'm going to say is injuries have decimated this team. We were already at a place where I didn't really know the team. Obviously, if you guys have been listening to the show or watching the NFL, we're starting Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones. But, across the board, I mean, Ricky Pearsall's our number one, who I actually think is serviceable there, but, he didn't think he was going to be there. We have our tight end right now is God, I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. It'll come back to me. Let me look this up real fast so I'm not disrespectful. Because he's actually being serviceable, and I shouted him out last year. Exactly. Tongs. Jake Tongs or Tongus. And then also there is one other guy that Luke Farrell, that we got from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both those guys have been all right. But
it's
again,
not Cleveland Farrell.
Right. 100%. But we're at a point right now where you don't know anybody. And then you add Nick Bosa going down for the year. And just talk about something that's just heartbreaking, right? He's so good. And it's so sad to see. I was really glad this one was not non-contact. Because personally, from what I've seen with these injuries in the past, non-contact tends to be just a full-on, it's off the bone. A lot of times contact can be partial. So they said that this one, he was able to have a successful surgery, but again, get well soon. You never want to see it with a top-tier talent, and I'm worried about his career.
Yeah.
But that'll be something that I can talk about down the road because he's not coming back anytime soon. C-Mac, where we would be without C-Mac is a question that I've asked ever since we've got him. He's gone over 100 yards easily in every game so far from scrimmage. This is a guy right now that's putting up running back 2-3 numbers and wide receiver 1 numbers.
It's really crazy, like watching him and like Devon Achane in particular, where I'm just like, they constantly feed these guys. Like they get so many touches every single game, and so many of them are at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
Like passes.
Absolutely.
I've never seen more passes that haven't gone past the line of scrimmage to guys that are just like make something happen.
And you want to know what's crazy? A-Chain will have 10 catches for 28 yards.
Right.
Christian McCaffrey, 10 catches, 88.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Make them happen.
Yeah.
There's some better blocking going on in San Francisco.
100%. And C-Mac is better. You know what I mean?
Bigger guy.
Yeah.
Much bigger guy.
A better player to me than A-Chain.
Yeah, for sure.
But, Ricky, 8 receptions, 117 yards on 11 targets. To be honest, he's a wide receiver 1. And I've been trying to tell y'all for a long time, just in terms of the way he's able to route run and how he fits into our system. This could be the coldest receiver we got. I mean, that's why we got rid of Debo. But, he can't be out there alone. I mean, the next highest guy beyond those two is 4 receptions from Kendrick Bourne. Like I told y'all, I'm happy we got him back because he always does that. He'll always come through with a 4 and 40 and do it right on a very efficient line. But then you got 2, 1, 1, and 1. And I'm talking receptions. We don't even need to know what they're doing with the yardage. So that should tell you right now we're not throwing much. But Mac Jones is attempting 41. on that last game. So you got to think about it. We are in strained situations. Yeah, that is bad. Bad. And it really just shows that if it weren't for Ricky and C-Mac, his 284 yards would be more like 84.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. The rest of the team, 84 yards. That's bad. Like, this is bad. This is bad ball. And it's actually less than 84. That's what's so bad. It's actually 79. So we can't live like that. We're not going to last long with this roster. I really hope that we can get some of these guys back. Mustafa, Ayuk, right? I hope Jennings can bounce back. Purdy sounds like he might be on the mend. So that'll be great news. Fred Warner's playing out of his mind. Love to see it. 11 tackles. He was just all over the field. D. Winters is also a guy that I've said is kind of replaced my boy, Dre Greenlaw. But this team is in trouble. And we might be the worst 3-0 team I've ever seen. Just in terms of this roster. There's just not a lot of talent left out there. And I think that the further we go, the easier it'll be to scheme against it. So for all of you faithful, just be careful with getting your hopes too high, because I think that, unless we really do get these waves of players back relatively soon, if you think that we're starting to slow down offensively and we're in some of these grinded out games, I'm pretty sure that it'll be this way for a while.
Yeah.
Thank God Salah's back. Night and day with the defense, and it's just an attitude thing. Got a lot of new rookies, but it's really just they feel comfortable with the guy calling the plays. And shout out to Michael Williams and Alfred Collins, as well as Marquise Siegel. These guys, to me, are the guys that have really made it to where it's like this defense is doing what it's doing, and they're rookies. Upton Stout, I thought, also played pretty well, and Bryce Huff, again, gets another sack. So let's hope Bryce Huff can kind of step up continuously, and I would not be shocked, faithful, if we go out there and try to make a big swing, if we continue winning and trying to get a Nick Bosa replacement. So you heard it here first on the Say Something show. Don't be surprised if you see us big game hunting. And that's only if we keep winning, of course. Week 3 highlights real quick before we move on to the Cal football scene, the NCAA scene. Let's see real fast. Pull up these scores. As we did with last week, we're going to tell you our biggest upset in our opinion. And I personally will give a quick preview for what I think would be the best game of Week 5. And you'll do the same as well.
My biggest upset, and it's less to do with like the talent that's there and more just to do with how the season's probably going to play out for them, is how badly the Bengals did against the Minnesota Vikings.
40-10.
I feel bad for all skilled players involved for the Bengals. The defense isn't going to be good, and that's going to force you guys to have to throw the ball. But unfortunately, you lost Joe Burrow. But 48-10 with basically no offense out there. Jamar Chase did nothing. Chase Brown has been doing nothing. T. Higgins has been invisible this season. I feel so bad for the Bengals. Again, losing Joe Burrow. Yeah, it's another lost year with arguably the best wide receiver on your team, with a guy like Chase Brown last year who was going off and basically has done nothing this season, because what are you going to do when that's all you have to key in on is packing up the line and stopping the receivers for about 5 to 6 yards, because they're probably not going to throw the ball deep and they want to get the ball out early. So it doesn't make it too difficult for defenses out there. So that's one of the biggest things I'm upset about after Week 3 is just the Bengals and the way their season's going to turn out.
Especially after going 2-0.
Yeah.
To start off. It's like,
right.
Wow, man.
And the way Jake Brown was able to bring them back in that game. And win
then
it.
Just
and then now, yeah.
It took Carson Wentz, too. Like, that's the other thing. That was Carson Wentz starting on the other side. 34-3 at halftime, something you never want to see.
No, it was terrible.
Something you never want to see. My biggest upset of the week would be the Browns over the Packers. Shout out to my boy Whittick, cuz I love you, man. Shout out to Marty, cuz I love you, man. But y'all got cooked, and you know what it is. After all that big talk about Jordan Love and this team being phenomenal, Parsons, my God, meet us in the Super Bowl. Not so fast. Y'all took a 13-10 to the Browns. Kicking game was looking atrocious. Some of the overall decision making, Golden went out of bounds late there on a catch that looked like could have gone a lot farther. Just decision making out the window. And when you see this kind of game, it's just a reminder of how good the NFL is.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday, right? But I really had this expectation that the Packers were going to go on this some kind of super hot roll, which they still can. But they're really known for like being a front season demon and kind of putting out in the end. So I was expecting a good 8-0, 9-0. They're super capable of that. And then, a little bit of putt once they get to really having to take on the division foes. But here we go. A little swift kick in the behind. And I know that all the cheeseheads were very frustrated by that. So that would be my upset of the week.
I got one more because I don't have one for a highlight for me this week, but seeing the Atlanta Falcons lose 30-0 against the Panthers of all teams.
Hello.
Michael Penix, 2 interceptions, looking terrible out there.
Bring back Kirk.
Another time where, just like Minnesota, maybe you pulled that trigger a little too quickly. Maybe those veterans really had something for you because they weren't incredible, but they were pretty consistent, and you knew what you were going to get. Whereas J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix, you were just hoping for the best. And clearly it hasn't worked out. I know Bijan's just been the one carrying the whole load. Drake London hasn't been able to do anything. Kyle Pitts, again, is a nobody. So it's just been really rough over there. And again, to be losing 30-0 to a Panthers team that is most likely going to be a top 5 pick in this next draft, is just not a good look. And they got to get it figured out over there because they have way too many options on offense to be looking this bad and putting up 0 points.
I mean, that's probably the team with the best skill position players in the league, like just across the board, and just never do anything offensively.
Nothing.
My highlight for the week would be the Lions beating the Ravens. I just thought that was a very impressive game. I thought the Lions were in really a position where it was looking like, man, are you guys even good? Like, even their wins were just like, God, this is not great. And that really, knocking the Ravens to 1-2 is a crazy, crazy thing. Which then brings me to my week 4 game of the week, which would be the Chiefs versus the Ravens. Both these teams are at 1-2, which is very rare. And I think this is going to mean a lot for both of these teams' seasons. I mean, a 3-loss season, and then both of these guys usually ending up in some sort of tiebreaker at the end. This is going to mean a lot, and it's just very unfamiliar territory to see both these guys at 1-2.
For sure. And, the Chiefs are they're injured in all their skill positions, so it doesn't even look like they'll be complete as a team until, week 6 or 7. And then from here on moving forward, it's just interchanging who can we put in there. The team on offense hasn't been able to sustain what they've had over the last few years. Another tight end who's going to be a Hall of Famer, and Travis Kelce hasn't been able to show up this season. Pacheco out of there, nothing going on in the run game, and then the defense is kind of holding it down as best they can without the offense being able to put up many points. So it's just a coin flip over there for the Chiefs, whereas the Ravens are a little more stable. And they just need to stop with the turnovers. Derrick Henry in clutch moments can't be letting the ball go with fumbles. And I think the Ravens can come out on top because I just don't think the Chiefs have it complete yet. I don't think they can put a complete game together against a team of this caliber.
Absolutely. And I would always question whether the Chiefs can get up enough for it, just in terms of dude, the Ravens want these guys' heads so bad. Every time. Them and the Bills, it's like the Ravens are just always seemingly, endless hunger towards that matchup. Do you have a matchup that you wanted to highlight real fast, just in terms of week 4? Like anything that you see across the board that you're just like, that'd be cool to watch?
Let's see. We got Jags. You guys are playing the Jags?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, you guys are going to win that one. Okay. Well, I mean, this is probably going to be the game of the week, other than this one because of the pedigree of the Ravens and the Chiefs. But the 3-0 Bucks versus the 3-0 Eagles.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Emeka Ibuka is a little banged up, and they just lost Mike Evans. But they are going to get Chris Godwin back, and hopefully Bucky Irving can start to put things together a little bit better in the offense, and they can stay competitive against the Eagles, who are same old.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get. A.J. Brown just waiting to get some more points for himself. But I think that's going to be an exciting game. 2 3-0 teams with 2 good offenses and just teams that we're probably going to see in the playoffs.
Yeah. And Baker just never disappoints in those big
Right.
moments.
Baker has been coming up clutch these last couple of years since he's taken over for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
He's the kind of guy I would have loved to see on the Raiders, where it's like a guy who like just doesn't care about like what else is around him. He's just like, I'm gonna
try to play ball out here.
I'm gonna be a dog today.
Right.
All right. So that is that. Remember to be on the lookout. Those probably will be the 2 games of the week. Mm-hmm. And we'll make sure we update y'all on what happens. My prediction is as well. I'll take the Ravens as well with you on that one. And for your game with the Eagles, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to spin. I'll take the upset with the Bucks just because I feel like, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. But I like Baker. I like him
at home.
I like him at home, and I really just think that, if they can get into a shootout, sometimes that Philadelphia offense moves quite slow.
They barely escaped this last. They got blessed in this last game.
Super blessed.
Super
blessed. And Brody lost his chain, but I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to Cal football. This will be very short and sweet. Hopefully next week we'll be able to give you a little bit better of an update and maybe a little longer because I'm not going to sit around and talk about a big fat L. I'll tell you that.
Jesus Christ.
But all the hype, all the juice getting pumped into all these Cal fans in Memorial Stadium, man, that was an empty juice box. Yeah. We took on San Diego State, who, if you know anything about that program, is always very, very well coached. Like, they're always just one of those teams that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but we beat them last year. Okay, they're normally a defensive and a running-based team, and they came out here and we didn't even score a point. And our quarterback, what it really looked like to me was that our wide receivers are just can. And like when we're gonna go up against some teams that have athletes out wide, we don't even have the running game to be like, let's trick it out. Let's switch it up. Let's get a little tricky going, right? And so I just saw a team that once they realized we're going to be dropping back and throwing, they just sat on it for the rest of the game, and we never went anywhere. So the biggest thing that I'll say before letting Mitch touch it up and I'm getting out of here is, the defense just didn't show up either, though. And so that's the one area where I won't give an excuse. 34, whatever it was that we gave up to them.
34-0.
34, come on. We have potential All-Americans on that defense. We have guys that could get drafted. Not like that. Not like that.
Not like this.
Not like that. So I don't know if you even want to say anything, but feel free, and then we'll move forward.
I mean, I just want to say that last year was the College Game Day Miami game that we were ahead the whole game and lost the fourth quarter. That took away all the momentum for us that season. This is the one this season. I'm sorry. I appreciate you standing up for San Diego State. But that's San Diego State football.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Like, that's not a football.
No, we should beat them.
That's not a team where, like, yes, we can say all these things, but, like, at the end of the day, if any solid football team in college was playing San Diego State, that's one of the gimme games. So for Cal, for you guys to lose that game, that shows me that you're still on that level of like San Jose State and teams like that's our competition. Fresno State, those are the guys that we play against, maybe even like to go out of state, like Central Michigan, Western Kentucky, UCF. Those are even I feel like UCF would probably whoop us, but like, that's what you're telling us when I see us lose these games like this. I can't even tell. I would have been upset with a close win against San Diego State. So for me, that seems very much like a players game that y'all just didn't show up for. Y'all thought, oh, we're cool. We've been winning a couple games. Everybody's talking about our quarterback. We're on the up and up. People like our defense. We're going to be cool. And then you went into San Diego State with some dudes who was like, we came to play ball today. And y'all was over there just playing patty cake, thinking y'all was going to win the game. Yeah. Doesn't look good. I know this sounds like hating, but hey, if you got 2 white guys as your main wide receivers, probably not the best wide receiving core out there. So there's not a lot to look forward to in terms of moving forward. When you lose a game like this, when you're not already a team that's not looked at as one of the top teams, your season's pretty much over. Unless y'all run the table and start putting up games where y'all winning everyone by 20 points or more, y'all just blew all the momentum that you guys had this season. So I'll still come to the games because it'll be fun to, just root on our hometown team. But y'all niggas are cooked. Y'all cooked. Y'all done. That's what you showed me after that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of it really came down to those. I mean, we gave up a 97-yard pick six and then a 35-yard fumble return touchdown, which is when you're looking at that is just dysfunction at its highest level. But to give up two tutties to the defense, that's pretty much half the score. Mm-hmm. Which is just wild to think about that our offense just handed them that. So there's a lot that needs to happen, a lot that needs to be drawn up. I think that it's got to be more than this boom or bust offense, where it's some games it looks phenomenal, our running game looks phenomenal. Some games we can't even get 10 yards. I'm excited to see this next 3 games where BC, Duke, UNC, who I think are good teams but not great. And they're definitely going to test us. And so it'll be great to see, because I think what's crazy is I think Minnesota is way better than San Diego State. Mm-hmm. Watching both those games, it was Minnesota's a better team.
Yeah.
So I think we're way better than what we showed there, and I think we quit. But, again, it is very true that in these situations, you pretty much have to be perfect. The only lucky thing is that there's only 2 legit, actually, though, there's 4 legit undefeated teams left in the ACC. Mm-hmm. But, even then, that's kind of crazy to say that we're at week whatever right now, and there's only 4. And it's Miami, Florida State, who they're inevitably going to play each other, mm-hmm. and Louisville, along with Georgia Tech. And so, We'll see. But I'm definitely not, super high hopes, as I wasn't going into the
right,
game. Yeah. So I'll take whatever. You know what I mean? And what I do hope is that this freshman quarterback can continue to grow, and that regardless of what happens, he decides to stay.
Yeah, because you're probably leaving.
I wouldn't be. Yeah, exactly. If somebody comes with that bread, it's probably happening.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to baseball as we have playoff seeding, and just a little bit of a quick look as baseball transitions into October baseball.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 games left in the regular season, so everything's kind of shaping up. We got a couple close races going on for the wild card spots in each league. In the American League, we still have the Red Sox, the Detroit Tigers, and the Houston Astros all still vying for the last spots in the wild card. As of right now, the way the postseason's looking, we'll have the Toronto Blue Jays as the number 1 seed for the American League, and the Seattle Mariners with the big dumper as the 2 seed, having overtaken Houston Astros. And then the last couple spots is going to be the Yankees are definitely going to be in there, and they could be going against the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. The Red Sox, I think, will be able to win out these last 2 games and stay in that 5th spot.